What's up guys, welcome back, and in this video I'd like to make an Artisan command that helps with installation when initially cloning this repo locally. As you've seen, we've been using Laravel Voyager for setting up things on the admin backend. Every setting or every option you specify in Voyager is added to a record in the database. This means that when you move to a new server or you're trying it out locally, all the settings are not synchronized. As a quick example, let me show you where these menu items are stored in the database. So if I go to my database, this table, menu items, is where it's stored. Same goes for all of the other settings. They all have tables for each of them, whether it's bread, permissions, or settings, etc. So I want to create an Artisan command that makes that installation process easier, so you don't have to repeat the steps that I've already done in previous videos. I'll also update the GitHub readme with detailed step-by-step instructions on how to get set up and running from a fresh clone of their repository. It's not done as of now because I still need to finish this Artisan command, but by the time this video is out, it should be done, so definitely check out the GitHub readme. I also want to use this Artisan command on my own server to reset the data using a cron job. We'll take a look at how to do that after I finish the Artisan command. Alright, let's go ahead and make a command. So PHP artisan make command. Let's call it e-commerce install. And into our code, there should be a new file called e-commerce install in that folder. So the first thing I want to do is just set the name of it. So like I said, e-commerce install. We'll look at how to add options later on. And the description, let's just say install dummy data for the e-commerce application. And if we save that, and if we look in our Artisan, we do PHP Artisan, we'll see that it's there. Right there, and description shows up there. Cool. Now the work goes into the handle method over here. So let's go ahead and work on this. The first thing I want to do is call another Artisan command. So to do this, you just do this call and you specify the Artisan command. In this case, I just want to do storage link, which is the Artisan command. If you look here, storage link, which creates a symbolic link from public storage to storage at public. We just want to make sure that that exists. So that's the first step I want to do. So actually we can try this out. It already exists. So if you look at public, the storage folder is already there. But let's just see if it works. So PHP artisan e-commerce install, and there you go. If it didn't exist, it would have made it, but since it already exists, there's an error message. So there's actually another method called call silent, which will still do it, but it won't output anything. So that's what I want to happen. Let's try it again, and there you go. The next thing I want to do is I want to copy all the images from the public folder into this storage folder. So let me show you what I mean. So initially, if you were following along in the series, all the images were in the public img products folder. So they're all here. But as we progress through the series, I moved it to the storage folder because we were using Voyager. So it's in storage and products and month. So I just want to move all of that to another folder. Let's call it dummy, and we can just use PHP for that. So let's go ahead and do that. It's called the file facade here, and let me just import that. I believe it's this one. And let's do copy directory. And I'm going to use the public path helper, which just is a nice helper to where the public directory is. And I want to copy img/products. And the second argument is where you want to copy it to. So I want to copy it to storage/products/dummy. And that should do it. So let me show you that that works. Yeah, so as you can see, there's no dummy folder here yet. But if we run the command, there it is right there. So you know it works. Let me just add a message here. So the return value of this is, I believe, 1 or true if it goes through successfully. So let's just do an if statement here. So if copy success, I just want to output something to the command line, and to do that you can just do this info, and I'm just gonna have a nice message here. Images successfully copied to storage folder. Alright, let's try that again. I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to run that command again. And hopefully we get a nice message after it's done. There we go. See if it worked. And it does. Cool. The next thing I want to do is just actually delete that folder before we start anything. So let's go ahead and do that. So file, delete directory, and it's just this directory over here. Let's grab that. The reason I'm deleting it is because, like I said, I'm going to use this on my own server, and I know people are going to be uploading random things, and I just want to reset that every few days or however often my cron job runs. So let me just verify that that works. Let me just comment this out. So it exists now. If I just run it, it should delete. And it did. Cool. Alright, so next, let me just grab this and have an overall success message when it's done. Let me just say dummy data installed. Okay, the next thing I want to do is make sure we confirm that we want to perform this action. So it's pretty straightforward how we do that. We can just call an if command, and we can do this confirm, and we can give it a message. This will delete all your current data and install the default dummy data. Are you sure? And this will default to yes or no, and we can just grab this and we can put it up there and indent it. And now we should have a nice confirmation message before this action is performed. Let's double check. There we go. And if we say no, it won't happen. But if we say yes, it will happen. There we go. Alright, so at this point, all we have to do is sync our database. So I'm going to call these commands. And this one is just PHP Artisan migrate fresh, which just runs our migrations in here. So all these migrations they're ours as well as Voyager's. So it's going to run that. It's also going to seed the database, and it's going to run these two as well. So Voyager database seeder is, if we go into it, it just calls all of these seeders, which is what Voyager needs to work. And we're also going to run Voyager dummy database header, which adds some dummy data for the users, the posts, the pages, and the translations. So these two are essentially what run when you install Voyager. And we want to do that as well. So the next thing I have to do is a lot of manual labor to make sure our database is where we want it. I'm not going to make you watch me do all of it, but let me just go through one of them and I'll explain what I'm doing. So I have to go through each one of these seeders over here and make sure that if there's any extra data that I've added, I have to make a seeder for that. So for example, for this one, so this is the only menus table seeder. This is the only menu that comes with Voyager when you first install it. But if you remember, we added two new menus. We added this main one over here, and we added the footer over here. So I can add it here, but what I did was I made a new file. So let me just duplicate this. Let's call it menus table seeder custom, and this custom file has all the additional menus that we created. So let me just paste in here, and it has this main one and it has this footer one. So I'm going to do the same for each and every one of the seeds that I need to update. Again, I'm going to do that behind the scenes because it's a lot of just manual labor. And then from here, I'm just going to call that seeder that we need. So for example, I'm going to call that menus table seeder custom like this. dbseed class equals menus table seeder custom. And I'm going to go ahead and do all of them behind the scenes, and we'll come back when that's all done. Alright, I'm back. So these are all of the seeders I've added. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of them. And a few things I would like to point out. For the users table seeder, originally the admin had a password like this, but I changed it so it's in the environment variable now. So I added a new Voyager config called admin password, and it's just getting it from the environment variable, and it's setting it to password by default if there is no environment variable. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I put this live on the web server, I don't only want a normal admin user. There'll still be an admin user, but you guys aren't going to have access to that because the admin user can have access to everything. So if you look at this users table seeder custom, I added another user type called admin web, which has less permissions than admin, because I know there's going to be someone out there that's a party pooper and starts uploading weird images or starts deleting images. So for that reason, I made a new one called admin web, which doesn't have as much permissions like I said, and here are the credentials for it, and the password is just password. So that's the reason I have a different user. I also want to point out that I also forgot to mention this, that for our products table seeder, I obviously added this new images field and the new image field, which we did in the last few videos ago, just so we have some dummy data for the image and the multiple images. So let's see if this works. Let's do a PHP Artisan e-commerce install, and let's see if that works. Yes. Okay, it looks like it does work. So dummy data installed. Let's go ahead and just check if that works. So let me refresh this. Okay, so the menu is still there. If you go into shop, there you go. So yeah, it looks like it worked. Let me log into the admin. Let me log in using that new admin type. So admin web at admin web .com, the password's password, and yeah, so that worked. But as you can see here, there's a few options missing. For example, there's no access to users, so you can't see the users. And as you can see here, there's no access to delete. And I've turned off a lot of the permissions, which I thought could be problematic, but it looks like it works. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is have an option to not confirm when we're doing the command. So for example, when we do this, I don't want this confirmation. And the reason I don't want it is because when we're doing cron jobs, it could be problematic. So what I want is have a force flag there to not show that confirmation. So let's go ahead and do that. So back to our e-commerce install command. So up here where we have the signature, we can add flags like this. So -- force, and we can put a description here. So do not ask for user confirmation. Okay, we save that. And now if you check out the help, so if you do PHP Artisan help e-commerce install, you'll see right there we have this option over here. So let's go ahead and make use of that. So to use that, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to make a conditional, and it's going to check if that is set. So we just do this option, force. And if it is, then I'm going to make this method in a second. Let's call it proceed. Else, we can do this. Just grab this. And we can proceed here as well, in this case. And as you might have guessed, we're just going to extract this to its own helper method. So just grab all of that. Okay, so I extracted to a helper method here. And if I did that correctly, we should still be able to do it the old way. Oops. See, no, that won't happen. Okay. Say yes, it should happen. Okay, it does. But now we have this additional force flag that doesn't ask for confirmation. There you go. Cool. Okay, now I would like to push our code to the server. So I'm just going to commit everything in Git. Okay, git add, git commit, part 17, Artisan command for installing. Okay, and push this. Cool. Let me go into Voyager, and this is our project here. I'm going to deploy. Okay, that's done. If I go into the actual web server, okay, product image is not found. Now, if I SSH into my server and run that command we just made, so see if that works. Forge at Laravel e-commerce example. Okay, so Laravel, let me go into that. Let me go into current, and let's see if we can run it. PHP Artisan. Let's just see if it's available. And it's right there. So let's run it. PHP Artisan e-commerce install. Yes. Yes. Oh, it's going to ask for everything. Let me just do this. I think there's a flag so you can force it. But we will just say yes to everything. Okay, so if I refresh this, there you go. That's default now, and all the images are showing, all the multiple images. Let's log into the admin. Let's try the admin web. I'll put instructions here later on. So by the time you get to this site, or by the time you see this video, there should be instructions there. adminweb.com, password, and that worked. It's missing the avatar. That's okay. But everything else looks like it works. Products are in here. And yeah, it looks good. Okay, make sure that your app URL in your environment file is set appropriately, and that should fix some of these image issues that we were having. This is still not showing, but I'll fix that later on. And if I don't do it in the video, it'll be fixed by the time the GitHub readme is up. Okay, now let's see where all these are coming up, the warning messages. Let's fix that in the command. So into our code, if I just set a force flag here, so if I just do this, that should do it. So I'm going to do it for every single seeder here. So, okay, let me see if that still works locally. Okay, PHP Artisan e-commerce install. Okay, looks like it still works locally, but I have to push this up to our server and see if it works on the server. Okay, so I just pushed it to on Voyager. Let's see if this still works. Oh, we're in the wrong directory. And let's try it again. Okay, so that's better. It doesn't ask for all that confirmation. And let's see if it still works. It does, cool. Okay, now I want to see if cron job works. Okay, so I'm going to make a new menu item. Let me just log into the real admin actually. And I'm going to make a new menu item. I'll show you why in a sec. Where's the menu items? Tools, menu builder. Let me just add another one to the main. Test. Just put this. And we're good. Okay. And that should show up on the main menu. Cool. Okay. So I'm going to go into Forge. And I'm going to set up a cron job here. So we'll go into scheduler here. And there's actually two ways we can set up cron jobs. We can set it up in our code where we go to app kernel console, app console kernel, and we can set up a schedule here. So we would put the command in here and we would do e-commerce install and whatever time frame you want, and then our server would be responsible for running the cron job. So in our code we'd put all the commands we want in here, and like I said, our server would be responsible for running that batch of commands. Or you can just have all the commands you want to run in here. I'm just going to do it this way because it's only one command I want to run. But just know that the other way is an option as well if you want to keep your commands in your version control. So the command I want to run is e-commerce install, and it's home forge. Where is it? Home forge. Yeah, this. Just grab this, paste it in here, and I'm just gonna do it every minute for now, just to see if it works. And then later on, I'm gonna set it to daily or nightly here. Okay, it's PHP home forge. Okay, so this looks good. Let's schedule that. And it's installing here. And let me see. Okay. And if we go back here, if this runs every minute, then this should disappear after a minute. I will be back in 1 minute approximately. Okay, it's been about a minute. I'm going to refresh this page and hopefully this disappears. And it does not. Oh. So it doesn't work because we have to set the force flag. So let's change this. Let me grab this again. I guess you can't edit it. Okay, let's delete this. And let's do it again, but let's set the force flag. So every minute schedule job.
A few moments later.
Okay, it's been about a minute, and if I refresh this, hopefully this test is gone. And it is, so we know our cron job is working. Cool. And if we go back into Forge, we can actually take a look at the output. And there it is right there. So we know it worked. Cool. So there you have it, guys. We've managed to create a custom Artisan command that helps with the initial installation process and gets our database synchronized with all the settings specified in Voyager. We've also set up a cron job on our server which runs at a certain interval. Again, I'm going to work on the GitHub readme, so make sure you check that out for more detailed instructions. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.